Welcome to Everything We Do is Magic, Finding Your Magic, Part 2. This is a series I'm doing on finding your particular style, your particular form, your particular magic, period. Whatever it is that singular chord that only you can strike. And last week we talked about the importance of finding that and kind of how we find that, whereas we find things that confirmation bias can help us to a certain degree to help us set some parameters of comfort, but then we oftentimes become too reliant on confirmation bias, whereas it has to look exactly like everyone else's. And so what I'm pushing for, what I'm striving for, what I'm hoping to help you find is a particular one-of-a-kind, unique style, form, creation, power, magic that's yours. And it'll manifest in several different ways, but it'll be a particular heart magic of yours. And so with that, I want to talk about the three parts of magic, at least in my walk. First, I want to talk about the threes, because threes are really neat. If you read the Kabbalion, you understand, Hermes thrice majestus, three times most high. In the Bible or in other religious texts, there's a quote about a three-chord strand not easily being broken. Also in most religious ideas, our bodies or our beings are referred to as being three-part: body, soul, and spirit. In psychology, we have the id, the ego, the superego. Tesla said, "He who understands 3, 6, and 9 understands the secrets to the universe." And this 3, 6, and 9 are the first three numbers of the Fibonacci sequence, the Fibonacci code, which all life is tied into that spiraling code. And so it's no different with us. We are three parts. We're mind, and these are the three parts where magic is manifest. It's the mind. Your mind is the power behind the magic. Your body is the fuel of the magic. And then your spirit is the direction of the magic. Now, it's interesting because when I say your mind, I'm not saying your brain, because the idea of a brain, there are actually three brains in the body. You heard me talk in last week's episode about the three brains that we have, that there are neural cells in three areas of the body: the brain, the heart, and the gut. And all of these neural cells are the same. They're of the same type. So they're basically, they do the same function. The whole premise behind everything we do is magic, is that everything exists as thought. That it's the Kabbalion principle that the all is mental. The all is mind. Everything is mental. Everything is thought. That there's nothing that we can do without thinking on it. So with that in mind, the mind must be mastered first. The mind, our brain, the place where we believe the thoughts originate. Well, the point that we're trying to get to is discerning where the thoughts come from, where the energies come from. And if they're not energies that originate with us, then we're not so much to pay attention to or take in the aim of those energies as we are to kind of observe them and to possibly latch onto the power of that energy or whatever. But what happens is, because our brain will record thoughts, the brain part of us, our mind records thoughts, and then those thoughts are kind of passed through our emotional center, so that there's an emotional attachment to those thoughts. And all of a sudden we are thinking things that there's no way that we could think. I don't believe any child is born a racist. But what happens is racist thought is reinforced through approval from parental figures, not just necessarily parents, but it could be teachers, grandfathers, uncles, whatever. And that's reinforced, and all of a sudden, a thought that did not originate with this person has taken hold. And again, that's you know, why is that in the world? And it's in the world so that we can filter it out. Because again, we are, as I've said many times before, you'll hear me say this many times if you listen to any of my videos, we are the divine watching the divine become the divine, become divinity. We are watching ourselves come into perfection, and we've set a path out, a unique path for us. But so when we go through the meditative state, it's imperative that we go through this first phase, which is whose thought is that? So that when thoughts rise up, and they'll always rise up in the meditative state, no matter what you're doing, there will always be thoughts that rise up, and you observe them and you find out where did that energy come from. And a lot of that you'll find you're releasing just a ton of there's no other way of putting it, psychic shit. That it's almost like doing a psychic cleanse, and some of it will just fall away. And then other things you'll be doing, kind of what we call the dark night of the soul, where you're facing some of your own uglies. So how do we master the mind? How do we, in the words of the Bible text, take every thought captive? How do we master our thoughts and create mind magic? Now, so what you're doing in all of this is you're learning how to focus your attention right. Because whatever, again, if you know anything about the double slot theory in quantum physics, the double slot, experiment in quantum physics, you understand that our intent, our focus, what we're thinking on, affects the material world as we know it. It affects it. It changes it. It can alter it. And so, so that's where the mind, that's where the magic begins, is in the mind. And so when you begin to focus your intention on your thoughts, then you're starting to find your way through to your heart magic. And so the first magic, again, is in the mind. That first magic is stilling the other voices and starting to find your voice. Now, after that comes focus first. And here we go. We're right back to where we always go, meditation. And again, when I say meditation, don't think it's all, that is a meditation. I'm not making fun of anything, but meditation can come in the form of tapping. It can come in the, wow, that felt really good. It can come in the form of meditative dance. It can come in the form of scrying in a mirror. It can come in any way, shape, or form that allows you to get past that mental guardian, that monkey mind that tries to keep you busy with other people's ideas. And again, we wonder why we have this monkey mind and what its purpose is, and its purpose is possibly to train us for this very thing. And so, how do we do that? And remember, every obstacle, as Marcus Aurelius says, the impediment to advancement is the way to advancement. The obstacle is the thing that will be the resistance that strengthens the very thing we need. And so it is with the battle with the monkey mind. And as I've told you, there are people who are so advanced in meditation and have vibrated such a higher degree than I can even imagine. and who say that when they go into a meditative state, they always prepare to face the monkey mind, and so that it's not ever something that will just go away. It's always a challenge for us to do it, and it keeps us our focus. It keeps our guard up, so to speak. And so, what is the meditative state, and what is the point we're trying to get to in that meditative state? So, focus in training the mind, in mastering the mind, comes in many forms. For myself, what I did was I used some physiological, sensory mind tricks, I guess you could say, that worked. One was during my meditation, I would breathe in blue smoke through my left nostril and into my left lung, and release blue smoke, and then do the same thing 3 or 4 or 5, 6 times, and then go to my right nostril and breathe in red smoke and out red smoke, and in red smoke and out red smoke 6 times, and then breathe in both nostrils white smoke and out white smoke, and actually sensing and seeing and feeling and tasting the smoke, and concentrating on and that was my reality. And I changed the reality of what I was experiencing simply by changing my thoughts. Then I'll do a similar thing in meditation with sounds, in that I will listen for a sound. It's usually a particular high-pitched ringing that will be somewhere off in the distance of my hearing, and if I pay attention to it, it'll disappear. So I have to develop, and this is also something that helps later on with the concept of letting go of the result, of being able to observe without interacting, without entering into, and without causing the sounds to dissipate. And even now, as I'm talking about it, because my mind has been focused on that, I can hear some of the sounds in the background, and I can turn my focus and watch them leave. So that exercise, any type of exercise like that, where you're that's one of the things with ecstatic dance, maybe, that you get to a tactile state, where you're actually feeling things in your body. I guess that's one of the reasons that Austin Spare used masturbation to charge his magic and his sigils, is because, again, that sense of disconnecting your sensory from your mind, and again slipping past that guardian that is really nothing but a busybody, and that's why the monkey mind is such an appropriate nomer for the guardian, is because it's a yakety yak, and it's all the conversation going on, all the things going on, all the busyness. So that pretty much wraps up this first or the second episode, I guess, the first step in finding your heart magic, and that is mastering your mind magic. And once you begin to master your thoughts, you will see, just by changing your mind, an incredible change, an incredible transformation in your world. And much of that comes with a change in perspective. You're choosing the perspective rather than allowing the perspective to find you, and that in and of itself is magic. And next week we'll talk about the gut magic, the physical aspect, the energy, and not so much the energy that our body is provided, but the fuel actually that goes into our body, which helps maintain that gut brain and where we can do actually the meet the physical needs of the Magick. So I hope you're enjoying the series. Be sure to like us, subscribe, and we'll keep pumping out more. Everything we do is Magick. Until next time, namaste.